and we're not professionals, so our opinions aren't exactly A's. I'd like to start out by saying this. I had a few people ask me why I didn't do any talk about basketball in the last one, and to that I say it's football season. Give it the program. Come February and March, this will be strictly basketball most likely. But right now, we're just starting football season. We're both very excited about this. So let us just have our season. Alrighty, so starting out, we're going to go over the NCAA top 10 going into week 3, or week 4 for them actually. And we have Alabama, followed by Clemson, followed by Oklahoma, then Penn State, USC, Oklahoma State, Washington, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio State. Of those 10 teams, you see anybody you think maybe doesn't belong?
I like all the top 10 right there. Oklahoma State surprising me at 6. But, I mean, they're starting out hot. Penn State in the top 4 still scares me some. Because I'm a Michigan fan, obviously. They're in the Big Ten. They scare me a little this year. And then Ohio State, they went from 8 to 10 following their win against Army. I don't know why they went down 2 and why Wisconsin's above them. I don't know why. And then Michigan went down 1 when they won their game against Air Force. So, with teams, most of the teams starting conference play, we'll see how the top 10 rounds out after week 3.
Yeah, I would like to mostly agree on the top 10, but I am a strong believer that losing teams shouldn't be above winning teams. So, for example, we have Ohio State ranked over Georgia. Georgia's 3-0 with a quality win over Notre Dame in South Bend. That's a big deal. Notre Dame's a tough place to win no matter who you are. So I think maybe Georgia take over for Ohio State from 11 to 10. And Miami should probably be creeping up there too because they've got a really good young cast of talent.
And the only team that Georgia's had to play so far that's hard would be Notre Dame. But that is a quality win in South Bend. So yeah, Georgia should be above Ohio State.
Okay, as far as the top 10 goes, now are you most concerned about maybe losing this weekend? They're either undefeated or lost in Ohio State's concerned. Which team do you think is coming into this weekend and they need to be worried because of what situation they have with their team right now?
And my upset pick for this week might surprise people on this. I have Iowa over Penn State.
Wow, are they in Iowa?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's a nice that's a good environment. It's tough to win.
Iowa has their one upset against Iowa State in Iowa State. Iowa's good this year, but so is Penn State. This is going to be one of the best key matchups for week 4. For any team to beat Penn State, they gotta stop Barkley. You gotta. He's gonna most likely win nation's best running back.
He's my sleeper pick for Heisman this year.
Exactly. He has to be in the Heisman running. But I think Iowa can get that W against Penn State this weekend. Get a little upset going there.
I went a completely different direction because I think that game's going to be one-sided in Penn State's favor. They're just extremely talented from top to bottom. I went with California possibly upsetting USC. The Trojans.
Ooh, battle of the Hallies.
Yeah, the Trojans aren't that good. Spoiler alert, they're not. That Sam Darnold, he's great. The Trojans themselves, not so much. I
just figured out that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
They just played Texas in a really good and entertaining game. You know. Here's the problem: it should not have been entertaining. It should have been USC 54 to maybe 30 max. They should have blown them out. The Trojans aren't that good. Sam Darnold's that good. What's up?
I just figured out that Juju Smith-Schuster got drafted to the Steelers. I thought he was still in college. I thought that's why USC had all that hype, because Sam Darnold and Juju Smith-Schuster was gonna rock this thing this year, but
no, it's just
when I was watching the Steelers and Vikings game last week on Fox, I just figured out that that he got drafted. I was like, what? So why does USC have all this hype? And it's only literally because their quarterback is talented.
Having the best quarterback in the world for his age class certainly helps. I like Sam Darnold. I think he could go #1 this year or next if he doesn't want to come out yet. I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't want to come out to play for the Jets. But Sam Darnold coming out and or not coming out. Sam Darnold and USC losing this weekend to Cal. We're gonna jump to the NFL because a lot going on right now. We've got an undefeated battle this weekend. Should be interesting. Place close to my heart. It's going to be Lions and the Falcons. Lions are hosting the Falcons. The Lions and Matthew Stafford have a reputation for losing these ones. The games against winning teams. And that's the biggest knock. Stafford can't beat good teams. So, what's your breakdown of this game? Who do you think wins, and who do you think the difference maker is?
I wrote some notes on this game earlier. It's going to be high scoring. Matthew Stafford and Matt Ryan, battle of the match right there, are both going to be above 300 yards passing. Fantasy teams are going to love this game. These two quarterbacks are just going to they're just going to feast on each other's defenses. And some key matchups I have here is Abdullah going to be healthy? I know he hurt his ankle at the end of the Giants game, so I haven't heard anything yet on him. Wilson, is he going to be healthy? Miles Killebrew took over for him in the second half against the Giants. And
I like Killebrew.
Right there's my difference maker. My defensive playmaker will be Killebrew, and my offensive playmaker is going to be Matthew Stafford.
So you got
What do you
Lions?
got, boss? Yes, Lions 37-34 overtime.
Wow, that'd be a heck of a game to watch.
I'm telling you, it's going to be, these two quarterbacks are going to go up there throwing haymakers against each other. Neither of these teams wants to lose. They don't want to lose.
Let me slightly disagree with you. Obviously, they don't want to lose. Both teams think they're Super Bowl contenders.
Right.
So we know they don't want to lose. That being said, these defenses, I think, are better than you're giving them credit for right now. I'm thinking whoever wins, it's going to be by 3. I think you're right there. And it's going to be 21-18-ish, somewhere around there. 24-21. It's going to come down to the it factor, and nobody has it better than our guy, Matthew Stafford. So I think Lions win on the last possession, 24-21. And it's going to be defense more than offense. Stafford, I don't think will get 250 passing yards, and I think Matty Ice will get close to 250. Probably throw all 3 of his team's touchdowns, or Devontae will break loose for a run or something. I think our run deep. When it's all said and done, Lions by 3 in regulation. We're too good to take a game to overtime. Totally joking, by the way. It's going to be a competitive game.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a heck of a game.
Well, it's gonna actually open a lot of eyes to win or lose. I think the Lions are being disrespected right now by ESPN and like sources, Fox, NBC. Everybody's got the Lions 11 or 12 in the poll. So I don't think it's fair to them. They're 2-0. Teams that aren't 2-0 are ahead of them. It's just like college football. I think winning teams need to be higher in the standings. That's just how it should be.
Right. I would agree.
Which 1-1 team going into week 3 do you think has the least to worry about?
I took the cheap way out. I picked the Patriots. Tom Brady's back. He had 300 passing yards against the Saints, 3 TDs. He's gonna feast on Houston. The run game isn't a problem. Watch out, they're back. Tom Brady's still getting redemption because of their week 1 loss. Wasn't even a loss, it was a blowout. But he's still getting redemption. He wants to face KC again. So he's going to play every game like he's playing KC. So I took the cheap way out, went with the Pats. How about you?
I think the Patriots are pretty obvious, and
yeah, right. Yeah.
Saying the cheap way, I think, is a funny and accurate way to put it.
Right.
I like it though. You made some good points. The team for me, let me put it into a story for everybody so that people can relate to it. When things get rough, for people who are really good at things, people often tend to think that those things have fell off the cliff. Or those people have fell off the cliff. Tom Cruise will make a bad movie and all of a sudden he's not a good actor anymore. Or Kobe Bryant would shoot 38% for a season and all of a sudden he's not elite anymore. Where I'm getting at is the Dallas Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott had 8 yards this weekend, and all of a sudden Zeke's not the real deal. Dak can't throw the ball. Dallas's defense has been exposed. No, you're out of your mind. Dallas is still probably the best team in the NFC, top to bottom. I think the Cowboys have a lot going for them right now, and this 1-1 start is not even a hiccup because they were playing against the best defense, one of the greatest defenses of all time. The Broncos are good. They're great. So the Cowboys have the least to worry about right now as a 1-1 team. They're going to be in the playoffs. They'll probably be in the NFC Championship. Calm down. RELAX if you're a Dallas fan. Which 1-1 team has the least to worry about? Or the most, I'm sorry.
You mean the most?
Yeah, sorry.
The most to worry about? I went with, we're going to go back to last week where you said Seahawks were going down and they're going down fast. I took that and watched the game against the 49ers, and I picked that as the 1-1 team to most worry. I picked the Seahawks. Their O-line is a big problem. You can't win in the NFL by kicking field goals. You can't.
Unless you're the Raiders. Or not Raiders, the Ravens.
Right.
Yeah.
The Ravens, yeah. They beat one of the worst NFL teams this year, 12-6. They don't have a run game or a passing game in the first 2 games of the year. If I was Pete Carroll, I would be worrying like heck right now. What? I don't. This team, like you said, is going down fast. They. I don't know. I don't. I pick the Seahawks for a team to most worry about.
It's like you read my mind.
Yeah, they're. I don't know.
The Seahawks.
I don't know what Pete Carroll did over the off season with this team.
Well, there's the issue. He did nothing. The Seahawks are not good. They have the most to worry about, maybe not of 1-1 teams, but of the whole league. The Seahawks are not good, as I said last week. They're not good. They're trending down. They're not doing anything to get better except trading weapons on offense for more defense, which was stupid.
Right. What, Jermaine Kearse had 2 touchdowns against
for the Jets. Look who's throwing the ball.
Against the Raiders. Yeah. For the Jets, and Russell Wilson threw 1 touchdown this past weekend to P. Rich.
Meaning that, funny enough, Jermaine Kearse is outscoring the Seahawks this year.
Right. It was on a scramble play.
Yeah.
You can't win in the NFL by kicking field goals and scrambling on every other play.
What sports come down to is you have to score more points to win. The Seahawks cannot outscore anybody, and that's as simple as it's going to be.
Christmas sakes, they beat the Niners 12-6.
Yeah, the Niners may have the 3rd worst roster in the NFL. They're not good either, but not really too worried about them.
I don't know. I'm worried about the Seahawks.
Likewise, we're going to go to the 0-2 teams. Which 0-2 team in the league right now do you think has the least to worry about? Because things are just looking up for them.
This was one that I did not like personally, because the 0-2 teams this year that are 0-2 are pretty bad. I mean, Andy Dalton and the Bengals, they're terrible. The Browns, I mean, I expected them to beat the Ravens, but that didn't happen. The 49ers and Jets, I mean, the 0-2 teams are terrible this year. But the least to worry about, with the great coach, great quarterback, they picked up a great running back, but they're not using him for some reason. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. I didn't know who else to pick. The rest of the 0-2 teams are pretty rough so far. I mean, Drew Brees will get his mojo back in the first 2 games. I mean, he's played Sam Bradford and Tom Brady so far, saying Sam Bradford is
healthy. Sam Bradford's elite.
Exactly, when healthy. He went last year with completing 72% of his passes. So, I mean, Drew Brees will get his mojo back, like I said, and the Saints will get better, and they'll get off to like their 10-win season that I think they're going to have.
Now let me tell you why you're wrong. And you almost couldn't be more wrong. The Saints are terrible. Likewise with the Seahawks. Almost polar opposite of the Seahawks. Exact polar opposite of the Seahawks. Not only do you have to outscore teams to win in the NFL, you have to stop teams from scoring to win in the NFL. The Saints can't do that. The Saints couldn't stop the Cardinals' offense right now, and that's saying something. The Cardinals are dreadful. The Saints aren't in a good spot either, and you were right when you said all these 0-2 teams are terrible, because they are. And the Saints are not an exception. They're bad, and they're trending down, as I would have said last week. They're going so far down. This will probably be Brees' last year in the black and gold, and if not his, it will be Sean Payton's. Adrian Peterson will be gone before week 6. That'll be the marriage that was over before the honeymoon was over. You know, it happens, but it's unfortunate. New Orleans is done. That being said, my 0-2 team that has almost nothing to worry about right now, it's the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns have got themselves a quarterback. We talked about him last week. He's excellent. I like DeShone Kizer a lot. I don't like Notre Dame. I don't necessarily like Cleveland. But I like DeShone Kizer. They've got the running back. They've got receivers. Maybe not healthy right now. But they're in the best spot as far as these 0-2 teams. The Browns are going to win 6 or 7 games. They got Jabril Peppers. They got Myles Garrett will be healthy. Not soon, but eventually. Of these 0-2 teams, they're in the best spot to be good within the next 3 years. My pick is the Browns are in the best situation. How about what's up?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
The 0-2 team with the most to worry about. There's a lot of them.
They're 2-0 teams the most to worry about. Like there is a lot of them.
0-2.
I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, 0-2 team the most to worry about.
Yeah.
Oh. So you want the ones? What
The
did we just
winless
go
team.
over?
The team without a win that has the most to worry about.
Oh, most worry about the Colts.
I like that. Go on.
Sorry about that. I was confused. I thought we just sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I picked the Colts. They've had 2 quarterbacks in 2 weeks. Luck is already ruled out for week 3, and it's only Thursday. Brisket is their best best bet.
Brissett. Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett, yeah, is the best bet. They have no run game, and they have no luck in Indy.
You're punny. The only reason I'm not saying the Colts is because I live here and I don't want to get attacked. Because I know people will attack me if I pick the Colts. Let me defend the Colts real quick. They're bad. Andrew Luck is great, and come the end of October, Luck will be healthy, and the Colts will be hopefully not playing him anyways. I think they need to sit him up for the rest of the year. I think the Colts are in okay shape. They're not expecting to be a Super Bowl this year. I know their fans. None of their fans are talking to me saying, well, we'll be okay as long as Luck's back. No, they understand the situation they're in. But the Colts are in a bad spot as far as this season goes. My team, though, with the most to worry about at 0-2, is a team who thinks they're Super Bowl contenders. And that would be the New York Giants. You and I know, watched every snap of the game on Monday night. And what we saw was the Giants on 2 sides of the ball getting manhandled by a young, unproven Detroit Lions team. They're getting outcoached by guys like Jim Caldwell. Like, Caldwell's not that bright. He's not even a great coach. The Giants, their quarterback's old. He can't move. Their offensive line can't block, making it so their moveless quarterback can't function. The receivers are dropping wide open passes on more than one occasion. 2 quote-unquote superstars dropping passes to extend the game for the Giants. They're in bad shape. They're not going to be a good team this year. I'd be surprised if the Giants win 6. And that's a Super Bowl contending team, quote-unquote, if you talk to their fans.
After 2 weeks. That's after 2 weeks. We're saying all this stuff about these teams after 2 weeks. That's how bad they are. There's only a couple of teams this year that are gonna actually play all 16 games like they want to win all 16 games. Well, I mean, every NFL team wants to win all the games, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
After 2 weeks, there's some pretty bad teams out there.
And it's evident who the pretenders are at this point.
I would agree.
But isn't it crazy that these 2 teams, the Cardinals and the Giants, they were coming into this year with the impression that they were going to be in the NFC Championship or the Super.
Exactly, and they aren't showing it through 2 weeks. The only reason Arizona won is because
they were playing Indy.
They were playing Indy and got lucky.
Yeah, they got lucky. Jacoby Brissett threw an interception, or else that game would have been the other way.
Exactly.
The Cardinals and the Giants are my top two teams that are 0-2 that have the most to worry about. Like I said, the Colts weren't that worried to begin with. They understood they'd be bad. These two teams thought they were contenders, but they're just completely pretenders, and they're awful. They have the most to worry about.
I would agree.
I'd like good conversation there, man. 2-0 team, the team that's unbeaten right now. Who has the most to worry about?
With the select few that are 2-0.
Yep.
I had to think about this one, but it kills me to say this because this kid's a superstar and I love the team, but I'm gonna have to go with the Panthers. They struggled against the Bills. I know it's week 2 and teams struggle early, but they struggled against a mighty Bills team that probably isn't gonna win more than 6 to 7. Cam really isn't running anymore, which is worrying me because I feel like he's more of a running quarterback than a passer.
Yeah, he can't complete 55% of his passes. I agree with you completely.
But what's worrying about he's not running is, in my opinion, I don't think that shoulder's 100%. Even if his shoulder was 100%, he still is not a good passer. But I think he's showing that shoulder is 100%, so that's why he keeps throwing the ball. If he uses his legs more and gets somewhere and then throws the ball, like I don't know. I don't think is that shoulder really 100%? Because he's throwing it like it's 100% and it's getting him nowhere.
Do you remember what I said about the Seahawks, that you have to outscore the other team to win? Well, the same goes for the Panthers. I agree. My 2-0 team with the most to worry about is Carolina. They can't move the ball, and their kicker isn't that great.
And hey, they won game on field goals though.
Yeah. How long is that gonna last? You can't win.
No.
You can't win every game off field goals.
It was against the Bills, who also kicked field goals. So.
Yeah. So while I do think that the Panthers have potential because they have an all-world defense, one of the best in the NFL, led by Kuechly, and I think the Panthers are good. If Ron Rivera hadn't told Cam Newton to stop running the ball, because that's what it is, and I've heard this all over the radio, they've asked Cam to stop running because they want him to last. They want longevity out of him. Here's the truth, though.
Right.
Cam Newton is not a longevity quarterback. All right? He's not a guy that's going to play into his 40s. That's just not his play style. So why are you trying to make a duck out of a chicken? Why are you trying to make a chicken lay a golden egg? It's not going to happen. Cam Newton is Michael Vick, but bigger and stronger. You need to let him be that. The Panthers have a lot to worry about. They can't move the ball. They can't score the ball. Say the same goes for the University of Michigan. We're having an issue ourselves.
It's gonna worry me. Big Ten play is gonna worry me.
Yeah, me too.
But
the Panthers, I agree with you 100%, have the most to worry about. Which 2-0 team has the least to worry about moving forward?
2-0 team the least worry about. This one might be obvious too. I mean, they've dominated the first 2 weeks of the NFL.
You're gonna say the Chiefs.
I'm gonna say the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
Same conference though, but yeah, I'm going the Raiders. Derek Carr, what's he in his 4th year, 3rd year?
I think it's 3. Yeah.
I think his injury's over with. He's ready to win. They're winning now. Michael Crabtree's he's a tree, dude. He's a tank.
I just followed.
Marshawn Lynch is bringing hype to that team. I mean, this team is easily going to win 12 to 13 games this year, I think, the way they're starting off. This conference is gonna be fun to watch, though.
I like the Raiders.
AFC West. It's gonna be fun to watch.
I like the Raiders. I like Derek Carr. I don't like this opinion. I think that the Raiders have secondary issues. When they play teams that can pass the ball, Kansas City, San Diego, oh man, even Denver lately, those three teams, I think they're going to struggle. They're going to win 3, maybe 4 division games, but they're not going to win the division, I don't think. The 2-0 team that I think has the least to worry about, the realest 2-0 team, is the Atlanta Falcons. The only reason I think the Falcons are going to lose this weekend is because they're playing in Detroit. In Atlanta, it'd be a completely different story. But Atlanta just blew the biggest lead in Super Bowl history, right? Yeah, we all know about that.
They're not hungover though, so.
They are hungry, and they're starving. They know it. They know what they did wrong. They know they biffed up. They're tired of being a meme, just like the 3-1 Warriors. They were sick of it. So the Falcons are going to finish 14-2. They're going to lose 1 this weekend, I think, in Detroit, and that's just going to be more of an eye-opener for them. To pull their heads in the right spot, the Falcons are going to be good. I expect to see them in the Super Bowl with a team out of the AFC West. Maybe it's the Raiders.
That'd be a fun Super Bowl.
Falcons Raiders. Could you imagine how high scoring that would be?
That would be fun. That would. Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott this Sunday had 8 yards. Dak threw an interception. Zeke walked away from the play. Do you think this puts a label on Ezekiel Elliott? He's a quitter. He doesn't really love the game as much as he says, and he's a quitter, and he quit on his team.
No. I don't. No, he was just frustrated. The Broncos stopped him, 9 rushes, 8 yards. Dak wasn't on his game. No, Dez Bryant wasn't even a factor. Zeke was just he was frustrated. I mean, if you're losing to this kid who's only started 3 games, Trevor Siemian, and he straight out balls your defense, and when you go out on offense and the defense balls you, you're gonna get beat every time. No, I don't think Zeke's a quitter. He loves the game. But what I think you can say is sophomore slump, question mark. But no, he's not a quitter. He's not a quitter.
We'll squeeze that into next week's. I didn't think of that, but we'll squeeze that into next week's after they play this weekend. Or this Monday. I agree with you. I'm talking about one particular play here, is when Dak threw the interception and Zeke walked away from the play.
And he put his hand on his hip. Yep. Yeah,
now
I think he was just frustrated.
He was frustrated and he quit on that play, but he's not a quitter. Flash you back to Super Bowl 50, Panthers, Broncos. You remember Cam Newton fumbled the ball and didn't dive for it?
Right.
Do you know why?
I do not.
It's because Cam is the face, the one and only, the man for the Panthers. Without him, there's no Panthers. Everybody knows. Dives into that fumble with Von Miller, he's going to break his arm or give himself a concussion. And that's that. That could be that for Cam Newton in that situation. It could be his career. So I don't disagree with him not jumping on that ball. The same goes for this play. If Ezekiel Elliott chases that man who got the interception, if he chases him down and a big defensive lineman blindsides him, could you imagine what could happen to him? Zeke is the face of the Cowboys, the sole face. I think, and he's proved it. He had an off game and they were terrible, right?
I agree.
So Ezekiel Elliott not chasing the defender doesn't bother me, because without it, you're going to lose the game, and if you get hurt here, it does the team no good next week and moving forward. So
I agree.
People got to understand that he's not Superman. He's human. If he chases that man down and Von Miller trucks over him, could you imagine the internal damage? So, no, to sum it all up, Ezekiel Elliott's not a quitter.
No, it's not.
We love to talk about college football, right? You and I love the whole sport of football, but the game of college football might be the most fun.
Yes. The competitive everything.
Alabama is favored heavily by Vegas to win the national title right now. Over everybody. They're saying Alabama versus the field, it's like a 3-2 favorite to win it, which is a pretty big deal. That being said, if you were a betting man and you could bet on Alabama or the field, who do you take and why?
Bama. I'm going with the odds here. I'm going Bama every time. Right now, I don't know how Bama does it, but every year they're the face of college football. And what's a difference from losing last year in the championship gonna change from this year? I mean, they have everybody back. Going into 2 years ago, nobody's even heard of this Jalen Hurts kid. And then he comes out and Bama's #1 again. Since AJ McCarron, when AJ McCarron left, I did not think Bama was going to keep winning. But they proved me wrong. They keep getting this defensive side and offensive side. I mean, everybody's going to Bama. It feels like to me everybody's either going to Bama with Saban or Michigan with Harbaugh.
Or Ohio State with Meyer.
Or Ohio State with Meyer.
Yeah.
I don't get it. What does Bama do? They get a kid, Jalen Hurts, from nowhere, and he comes out and he's 1-1 in national championship games 2 years into his career. I'm going Bama all day. I mean, this year it might be different because I said this, but I don't see anybody beating. All they have to do for Ohio State is watch the tape against Oklahoma and see, oh, we stopped Barrett, we stopped their whole team. They can look on tape on Penn State, we stopped Barkley, we stopped their whole team. Look at Michigan, we put pressure on Spate, he's going to throw it out of bounds. They get in the Michigan gets in the red zone, just pressure them. They're kicking a field goal with this kid out of Norden.
He's good.
This Quinn Norden kid, he's good, yeah.
Field goals don't win championships.
Exactly, and that's what Michigan's doing right now. But
okay, so you said you picked Bama over the field.
I'm going Bama over the field, yes.
Now let me tell you why I disagree with you. Alabama probably, on paper, is the best team in college football.
Yeah.
They play a weak SEC, the weakest SEC's ever been in my entire life. And it's the weakest it's going to be for a long time because I see them improving strongly after this year. I think Chip Kelly could go to Oregon, and I think it's going to change Tennessee. Chip Kelly to Tennessee this offseason, I think it's going to change everything. But right now, Alabama or the field, it's still the field. And I'll tell you why. You look at Clemson, and they may be the best team in college football. Their defense had, 5 sacks last weekend? Yeah. They stopped Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson's the best player in the world.
That right there is all you have to say. is they stopped Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
You don't need to know how much sacks, interceptions, fumbles, touchdowns. That's all you have to say is they stopped Lamar Jackson.
And then
that opens people's mouths.
Hypothetically, say they draw Oklahoma in the first round of the playoff. It's a drawn-up conclusion. Alabama's going to be in the playoff. So let's say they draw Oklahoma. So if it comes to the playoff, I think its best quarterback wins almost every time. So Baker Mayfield is much better than Jalen Hurts. Let's get that out of the way. Baker Mayfield's probably the best pound-for-pound quarterback in the country. So I think Alabama would lose to Oklahoma because Oklahoma's got defense. And I think, you know how much I like Wilton Speight. If any of my friends are listening to this, they know how I feel about Wilton Speight. I cannot stand him, and I wish that he would go home. I think Jalen Hurts, as a quarterback, has the equivalency to Wilton Speight as far as pocket talent and arm strength and arm accuracy goes. He's not a good quarterback.
Right.
He's a great runner. Reminds me a lot of Terrell Pryor and I can't remember.
Where is he these days? Playing for the Redskins?
Who? Oh yeah, Terrell. Yeah, as a receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can't remember, Braxton Miller, another receiver now, playing for the Houston Texans. I think he's going to be a good receiver or running back in the NFL. He's not going to be a quarterback. Best quarterback wins in college every time. Oklahoma beats them. Clemson beats them. Penn State and Alabama would probably be really competitive. They'd roll over USC. Oklahoma State has a chance to compete because I think they're the most underrated team in the country right now. Washington is hungry to face Alabama again because of what happened. Michigan couldn't compete right now because they're just not there yet, unfortunately.
Not in the red zone.
We have Wilton Speight holding us back.
You get them in the red zone. You get them in the red zone. It's basically 3 points.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. But at least we're guaranteed 3. But Wisconsin, I think their defense could stand toe-to-toe with Alabama. They would lose 10-3. And Ohio State, I think they could beat Alabama. Ohio State is still one of the best teams in the country. They'll probably be in the playoff unless they lose to Michigan or Wisconsin. I don't know if they drew Wisconsin this year. I don't remember. But if Ohio State wins out, they're in the playoff, and I think they could beat Alabama. So it's the field. You're looking at every other team or Alabama. Statistically speaking, every other team has a much better chance because Alabama's not going to... They'll be lucky to win out. They got a tough game this weekend. I'm saying it right now, and if you're listening to this, you might tune out after I say this. Vanderbilt will be competitive against Alabama. They might even win. You heard it here first.
3-0.
Vandy versus Bama. Watch it. Watch Vandy compete. If I'm wrong about this, I'll deny I ever said it. Sorry, that got me fired up. I don't like the one team favored over the field. I've never liked it. And that. All right, moving on. Was it or is it for the Giants right now? Back to the NFL. Is it more of the offensive line is dreadful and they can't give Eli time? Or Eli's old and Eli's just not on track anymore?
Well, I picked it's a bad O-line, but earlier in this podcast you said Eli is old and can't move. I agree with that. I'm gonna go kind of both here because the O-line, Flowers got absolutely hammered by Ziggy. Ziggy got 3 sacks.
They were single covering him. It didn't make any sense. They got out-coached.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know what was doing. I don't know. I don't know what Ben McAdoo was doing there with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
going on. They can't guard Eli. Every time they would put up the clock for Eli, he holds the ball more than 3 seconds. He's
pumping it, and he's pump faking, and it looks like he's trying to create something when he doesn't have time to create. Maybe he should watch some Alex Smith game tape. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and going back to what you said about the receivers, Brandon Marshall, what's his deal? Wide open, drops the ball. You can't do that. Not when the game's 17-10 and you drop.
Brandon Marshall is. He's 34, I think, and receivers fall out of their prime when they hit 31, statistically speaking. So, I think Brandon Marshall lost love for the game. I don't think he loves football anymore. I think he's just getting paid.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And he didn't even look, after he dropped the ball, he didn't even look upset.
You didn't know. It's that same face every time.
Yeah, it's just whatever. We're not going to win the Super Bowl anyways. Why should I try?
I agree.
So you said a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay, you're going to laugh about this then. The question was bad O-line or bad Eli? The answer is yes. Okay? Because you were spot on. The O-line can't protect him, but even if they could, Eli couldn't create anyways. His receivers don't care, and he can't hit a wide open guy who was thrown behind. You seen him throw an interception by throwing behind Brandon Marshall. He can't hit his guys anymore. He can't move to hit his guys anymore. We're in the NFL now where if you can't move, you're done. Eli Manning is done. The offensive line was toasted before the game even started.
I agree.
All right, this one, I love it because I think we're going to disagree, and I really hope so. Rams or Seahawks to win the NFC West? Both teams are 1-1 right now. I think the Rams have a bright future.
Both teams are 1-1. The Rams do have a bright future. I picked Jared Goff and the Rams. Jared Goff has an O-line.
He has receivers too.
He has receivers. They have a running game. They have a little bit of everything that the Seahawks don't have.
They even have a defense. Aaron Donald.
They do. Yes, they do. I'm really hoping that the Rams, this is the Rams' year. If the Rams even split the series against the Seahawks, I still think the Rams win the division.
Now here's my opinion on this discussion, and I don't know if you'll laugh about this one, but I think it's a funny opinion myself, but I also think it's probably accurate. The Rams scored more points in week 1 than the Seahawks will all year. They scored 44, I think, against the Colts. Seahawks can't score the ball and the Rams can. The Rams will win the NFC West. The Seahawks will be lucky to win games, period. So yes, the Rams. Jared Goff is my guy. I love this kid. I think he's probably the best quarterback out of that draft class. Might not be a popular opinion, but that's just, I think he's going to be better than Carson Wentz. I like Carson Wentz too, but I think Goff's better. But yes, Rams over Seahawks right now, tomorrow, and a month from now. At the end of the year, we'll see if I was right about this. If you were right about this, the Seahawks have fallen off, and the Rams are on their way out.
This year. I like the Seahawks the Rams this year. My bad.
I like that opinion.
Rams this year.
Okay, we're gonna end this on a fun topic for everybody, I think, because it's the most entertaining division in football, hands down. Most talented.
Easily.
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 teams are 2-0 for Christmas sakes.
Christmas sakes. I like that. We're gonna trademark that. Make t-shirts and stuff. So, in the AFC East, or AFC West rather, AFC East has already been decided. In the AFC West, who do you think wins the division and gets the first round bye?
I'm sticking with Oakland. I like Oakland. I really do. I still don't think Casey's ready. And going back from last week, I still don't think Denver has anything. I still think they're going to use Osweiler before the year's over. I really do. But the LA Chargers, I think they're out of it still. I don't. Phillip Rivers is old and he's, yeah. But I'm sticking with Oakland. They're ready to win. KC. I still don't think. I don't know. I think it's still too early as well. All three teams are 2-0, which in all heavens, Denver surprised me by whopping Dallas. I did not have all three teams at 2-0, I can tell you that. But it's the way football gods wanted it, I guess. I'm picking Oakland.
I appreciate that pick. But because of a point I made earlier about the Raiders not having a secondary or much of a defense at all, I disagree respectfully. I think the Denver Broncos, and I'm gonna, because if you watched last week's podcast, this is me eating humble pie right now. Trevor Siemian proved me wrong. The Denver Broncos proved me wrong. They went out there and they dominated the best offensive line in football.
They destroyed the best offensive
They
line.
picked Dak Prescott off not once, but twice. They held arguably the best running back in the NFL to 8 yards. So, defense wins championships. Offense wins games. The Broncos have both. Trevor Siemian's the real deal. He's going to be a star. Osweiler's not going to see a start this year unless Siemian gets hurt. My pick to win that conference or that division and the AFC pretty much in general is the Denver Broncos. I think they're dangerously good and I don't like it because I don't like Denver as a city.
It's going to be a fun conference.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch things turn into what they're going to turn into. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the entire AFC, but that division in particular, I think they could have 3 teams in the playoffs. I think they will have 3 teams in the playoffs.
I'm ready for Week 16 Lions versus Packers for the division again. I'm ready.
I don't think it'll come to that. The Packers are looking rough.
It's football season, baby.
It's like we have sound effects or something. Like I don't have a button for sound effects. That was just sheer coincidence, everybody. Alrighty. Well, this has been some B+ opinions. Again, our names start with B, and these are our opinions. Thanks for watching. Please like it, share it, tell people about it, comment topics you want to hear or something. Thank you again. Goodbye. Baby.